Now your sports update. Sports update. Powered by Mercury Insurance.
Hey, it's Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Bengals beat the Ravens 34-23 to kick off Week 2 of the NFL season. Week 2 continues on Sunday. The Niners are home to host the Lions, while the Raiders hit the road. They take on the Broncos in Denver. On Sports 1140, we'll have an NFL triple header for you on Sunday. It'll be Eagles-Bucks with coverage beginning at 9:30. That's our first game. The second game will be that Raiders game in Denver. Kickoff is set for 1:25, and as always, we'll have Sunday Night Football for you. Cowboys, Giants in Dallas. Kickoff for that is set for 5:20. You can hear all those games right here on Sports 1140. Former Browns linebacker Michael Kendricks, who's under federal investigation for insider trading, was signed by the Seahawks on a one-year deal yesterday. They're expected to have him this week on Monday night against the Bears. And the A's 6-game winning streak came to an end last night. They fell to the Orioles 5-3 in Baltimore. Brett Anderson, he started for the A's. He allowed 7 hits and 4 runs in 3 1/3 innings. Oakland is now headed to Tampa Bay for a 3-game set against the red-hot Rays. It's 8:03. Time to play 9 at Sierra Pines Golf Course. Learn more at timbercreekgc.com.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what? Everybody, listen up. Welcome to The Drive.
Morning, morning, morning.
You're going to talk. Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Our thanks to Sean Salisbury. Those of you on the video just saw me talking without my mic on. That's the downside of video. They can see stuff like that. It's kind of embarrassing. There's no way to look cool doing that.
No, dude, you're just so awesome that you don't need to have the mic on.
People hear me naturally.
Exactly.
Our thanks to Sean. Dave Richard coming up in just moments to talk about your fantasy football team. If you have questions for him, 1-800-912-1140 on starts and sits. And there's a lot of questions out there this weekend. All guests brought to you via the Fire Wings Hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com, just wing it. Kyle, just a quick aside, and before my quick aside, your quick aside.
Just want to remind everybody we're giving away Rascal Flatts tickets. We'll do that in the next segment, but the Rascal Flatts, Rascal Flatts?
It's just Rascal Flatts.
The Rascal Flatts show is September 20th at Toyota Amphitheater. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. All KHGK giveaways powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. We'll do that next segment.
I am I absolutely admit I'm a weather addict. We don't have a lot of weather out here, but in the couple of years I spent between St. Paul, Minnesota, and Omaha, Nebraska, I was a Weather Channel junkie. So when something like the hurricane pops up, like in this case Hurricane Florence, which is hammering the Carolina coast as we speak, and I have a monitor on, you know, when I go home, that's all I watch. I'm fascinated by weather, and obviously our thoughts and all of that is with everybody out there, hoping that they are as safe as can possibly be. And maybe somebody can help me out, but it always seems weird to me that the coverage is all about, let's go to the mayor of this town, let's go to the governor of this state, let's go all over the place. What's your message? Get out now. That's always the message, and good. But the anchors are delivering this message with, like, the ocean behind them at the marina, out in the weather. And you and me being in media, and by the way, anyone not in media can figure this out too. It's not us. You know that you have Anderson Cooper flying down and all your top anchors, and they could be in a parking garage, but no, they've got to be out in the weather with the wind blowing on them, with some tree going. You know they're setting up the shot
just debris
perfectly.
Flying by. And the whole time they're talking, like, talk as if you're doing the weather update.
Thanks, Kyle. We're out here in the back of the parking lot of Bob's Big
It
Boy.
is just
Right.
just the wind and the
And part of me thinks there's a production assistant, like to the side, if it's a
giant fan.
giant fan and like a hose. They're throwing
actually
hubcaps.
just in San Diego on the beach.
But part of me is like, guys, I get it, and dummies like me are watching you, which is why you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But shouldn't you not be there?
What was it? The Weather Channel that had that awesome green screen.
Best thing I've ever seen with
Way
the
better.
waters
Hey,
rising up around them.
Because look, I got the idea.
Right.
And you didn't have to be in direct line of a hurricane.
Right. Why can't you just do it with the green screen behind you? This is what it looks like at Cape Fear right now, Andy.
If you haven't seen the Weather Channel video, it's a green screen, and then it goes from the map to this, like, this like thing where it's showing you like how high the water is, but
Yes.
it's like a 3D computer image of the water and like 3 feet, 6 feet, 9 feet. And I like how it says when it's 9 feet, the girl's like, yeah, leave.
You're going to die.
Yeah.
Like they're very
They
specific.
show like fish swimming through.
Literally fish assets, graphical assets in the water. And did you see the guy do it too? There were 2 different videos.
Oh, I just saw the girl do it.
Exactly. So that's my question. Is like, if Anderson Cooper gets blown into the ocean, some first responder is going to have to take himself away from Janice down the block who couldn't get away because she's too old or didn't have a car or some legit reason, right? And someone's going to have to drag Anderson Cooper out of the ocean. Why are you all down there? Like, I thank you for it. I'm watching you on TV, so I'm being hypocritical right now. But maybe just be safe. In this day and age of technology, maybe just have a green screen behind you and do your job from Atlanta or wherever you are. From the 209 No Carlson trade in the update, Sharks got stacked. We spent literally 12 minutes on the Carlson trade. 2-time Norris Trophy winner. Shores up that Shark defense. Absolutely lopsided trade for San Jose. Not that they didn't give up anything, but this was an absolute lopsided trade. And this guy not only won the Norris Trophy twice, but finished runner-up a couple times too. Huge, huge get for the Sharks. And I, for one, am over the moon waiting for the start of hockey season.
Yeah, if you know anything about hockey, you know that was a huge trade for the Sharks. You also know that it's time to check out the Marysville Stampede tomorrow on Sunday. Go to MarysvilleStampede.com for tickets.
Dave Richards been coming on with us for a long time now, and I'll tell you why. Because he knows what he's doing. Now, Kyle, you are a little bit shy about this, but I'll tell you, Dave Richards got a thick skin, and you make 1,000 predictions a week. One of them is going to be dead wrong. So I want to say before we even bring him on, Dave can take it, all right? And by the way, you can follow Dave.
I hope so, because I'm heated.
You can follow Dave on Twitter, at Dave Richard, and catch him on the first ever Fantasy Football Telethon streaming live this Monday. Okay, well, you know what? I'm actually reading my old notes. I'm reading my old notes because the Fantasy Football Telethon isn't happening this Monday on Labor Day. I have little notes that I make so that I can plug what Dave's doing.
Update those.
I straight up just Ron Burgundy the whole thing. I can tell you, though, CBS Sports' new online channel, CBS Sports HQ, has your latest sports news, highlights, and smart analysis. Hey, it's all free at CBSSportsHQ.com or on the free CBS Sports app. We bring in right now, perhaps for the final time, because he's probably done with us, the one, the only Dave Richard. Good morning, David.
I'm not done with you until you're done with me, Dave. It's always a pleasure to talk, but it sounds like I'm about to get chewed out for something.
Oh, just terribly. Kyle's so superheated.
Oh, my gosh, Dave, I have been angry all week, let me tell you.
What specifically is your complaint, Kyle?
Well, last week I asked about LaShawn McCoy or Tariq Cohen, and I got laughed at.
I laughed at you, too.
Yeah, you guys laughed at me.
Yeah.
It took Tariq Cohen 2 touches to outscore LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
So
what did they combine
I know
for? How many points did they even combine for?
Like 13, I think, and McCoy had less than 3.
I mean,
all right.
What are you going to do?
I know that's I typically get all my predictions right, which is why
100% of the time. Dave, we bring that up to kind of make a broader point, which is in this business, don't you find it? You have to be at the point a long time ago where you find it almost hilarious. You will make 1,000, like literally 100 predictions a week, and 1 or 2 of them shockingly don't work out because you're dealing with human beings in football and
they're
defenses.
long-term projections too. It's not like
and you get somebody on Twitter who's like, "Oh, what's up, dude? I mean, come on, I thought you were a fantasy expert guy."
Sure. Well, here's the deal. Do you think I would ever purposely, and I'm talking to Kyle here, not anybody else, do you think I would purposely steer you in the wrong direction? Do you really think my goal in life is to make you unhappy with fantasy football advice? Oh, yeah? Okay.
No.
I'm going to work
You're
on
right.
that.
You're absolutely right.
You know? I think you should start Mitchell Trubisky this year. Drop whoever you got.
I'm leaning heavy on the Bears.
Josh Allen. Start all Bills. No, you know, we try to do our best, and it's obviously an imperfect science because things happen. I'll give you an example from last night's game. I did not expect Andy Dalton to throw 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I did not expect Alex Collins to have, what did he have, like 12 touches in the game, only 9 carries. I didn't expect him to be better as a receiver than as a running back. I didn't expect John Brown to be the second best receiver in the game. There's a lot of things that happen, and the whole point is fantasy football is supposed to be fun.
Yes.
You're supposed to enjoy, you're supposed to kick back and relax, watch football, have a rooting interest in a game that you wouldn't normally have a rooting interest in. And when it's not fun, then maybe you shouldn't play fantasy, but you've got to take the good and the bad, and just because one week a player does bad doesn't mean he's going to be terrible for the entire season. And just because A.J. Green scores 3 touchdowns doesn't mean next week he's going to score even 1. He might struggle next week.
And there's it's an educated guess because we don't know. That's sports. Like, you can't accurately project everything. But 9 times out of 10, like in the situation last week, LaShawn McCoy is the better start than Tariq Cohen. It just didn't work out that one time.
Right, and certainly we could have said, Buffalo's going to get their butt kicked, and it's going to be a tough game for LaShawn McCoy. And LaShawn McCoy wasn't one of our favorites. He wasn't one of our favorites going into the season. So I might actually go as far back as to say, when did you draft LaShawn McCoy? How did he end up on your team? Did you take him in round 4, or maybe even late round 3, or was he like your second pick? Thinking, well, it's LaShawn McCoy is going to be great. So we can play the blame game all you want. There's a reason why you started a player. It's probably not just because I said so or because anybody else said so. It's probably because you had the confidence in him or you didn't have anybody better, and that's why you started him. And it's also probably the reason why you drafted him.
Hang on, pause.
Things don't work out. Things
How
don't
is this
work
getting
out all
turned
the
out
time.
back on
chew
me?
on that, Kyle. just chew on that.
I like how that turned into like, well, your team's just trash.
Yeah, your team is trash, Kyle.
I lost both games last week.
By the way, for the record, I actually work on making Kyle's life miserable as much as possible, Dave. So, hey, our boy Alfred Morris. I mean, he had those two. I mean, what do we do? There are no bigger Alf fans than you and I. This goes back years. Do we now take him off the board for now because of the fumble? Is he still a wild card? How do you read him?
I would do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I think he's got a terrific matchup at home, a get-right spot for the 49ers. And he was their red zone guy last week. And I would be surprised if they turned to Breida, who just doesn't pack as much of a punch as Morris when he runs with the football. He's better out in space, catching passes, running to the edges, stuff like that. Alf is a between-the-tackles grinder. And against this Lions defense, which looked terrible against the Jets and are now playing on the road on a short week, that's going to be a good thing for Morris. So I've got a lot of confidence in him. I'm rolling him out there. I have him ranked even higher this week than I did last week. I think he's going to have a good game.
By far the most popular question we have for you, and my guess is one of your most popular questions this week, is assess the value of James Conner. I have people telling me that they're being offered Le'Veon Bell straight up for James Conner. Where do you rank him as far as trade value? Should you hold him? Should you trade him? What's your assessment?
He's getting close to being worth one of the better running backs in fantasy. I don't think he's going to ever be toward the very top of the trade chart. For example, I do a trade chart each week to tell you what the values of players are moving forward. But I do think that between now and potentially week 11, he's going to be a very startable, very productive running back for everybody's fantasy team. Here's the reality. This is fact. Le'Veon Bell will come back at some point this season. When he does, it's not a guarantee that he's going to get his entire workload back or that he'll even play right away because the Steelers might put him on the exempt list. This is going to get petty really quick unless he comes back soon. And no one knows when he's going to come back. The holdout to me makes no sense whatsoever because he's trying to – I'm sure his argument is I'm going to make a lot of money anyway after this season, so why play? Why risk injury? Why risk that payday? And the alternative is you're getting paid almost $1 million a week to go and play football, and you're guaranteed it for this entire season. And you're showing everybody else in the league that you can go out and play through things like this and not be a distraction for your team. So what Le'Veon's doing is totally unprecedented, and Connor is the one capitalizing. I think if I've got Connor, I'm trying to trade for Le'Veon, and I'm not trying to give up Connor for Le'Veon. That's just not happening. I'm trying to get Le'Veon for as cheap as possible. Someone's going to be sick of him and say, all right, take him. And eventually that will happen in leagues. It could happen as soon as next week or the week after if Le'Veon's holdout continues. Will it continue? No one has any idea because no one has any clue what Le'Veon's thinking about.
And just to be clear, when you say Collins for Bell and that's not happening, you're saying You
Connor for Bell.
Or I'm sorry, Connor for Bell. You're saying if you had James Conner, you would not trade him for Bell, or you would? I just want to be
the problem. I want to win my fantasy games right now.
Sure.
So I'm going to ride James Conner for as long as I possibly can.
Okay. Let me run through a handful of running backs. We got a lot of questions on these guys, so I'm just going to quick fire at you. And the question, as always, is your assessment after week 1, and would you start him this week, depending on who else people have, of course. Kenyon Drake, Miami.
He's still a number 2 fantasy running back. We'll see how that Jets defense does after. Everybody's going to look good defending the run against Detroit, so we'll see how Drake looks, but still a top 24 running back.
Alex Collins, you mentioned him earlier in the show. Alex Collins with Baltimore.
Oh, he's a terrific buy low candidate because everybody who's impatient and drafted Alex Collins probably can't stand the sight of him at this point. And he's not getting 9 carries every week. So now's the time to trade someone on your bench, maybe 2 bench guys, for Alex Collins.
Now, I think I saw your tweet last night. It was a good and bad on Alex Collins. The bad was he had a chance to kind of ball hawk and busted into the end zone. He missed on that. But you still feel like the Ravens have some confidence or a lot of confidence in him?
I almost think part of their game plan moving forward has to be to involve the run more. Joe Flacco threw the ball 55 times last night, and they were forced to abandon their run game. They were down so big so quickly in the game because they lost C.J. Mosley. Just game script got out of control, and they had to do it. I wonder if they kind of go the other way with it now and say, all right, next game we're going to try and really establish that run and get the job done.
Lamar Miller.
I think he's a good option this week. I like him better than Drake. Matchup against Tennessee should be pretty good. You start Lamar Miller and you expect around 9 fantasy points in non-PPR and 13 in PPR, and I think he'll get you that.
Now, when we move on to other guys, and again, it's only 1 week, but a guy like Deshaun Watson went super early. He's playing the Patriots, obviously. Did you see any red flags in that game with Watson, or are you still starting him at quarterback if you have him?
Well, I want to answer yes to both of those questions. You're still going to start him because you know what his upside is, and the matchup should be better for him against Tennessee, although it's a similar type of scheme than what he went up against in week 1. But I still think it's better, and I think if Will Fuller plays, then that'll definitely help him out. But I hated the offensive line play. I thought it went from bad to worse as they incurred some injuries. And Watson seemed kind of slow in the pocket, like almost too cool in the pocket. And I wonder if that's going to catch up with him someday where someone hits him and he has a hard time getting up from it. He was stretching out his muscles after the end of the game. He said it was just cramps. Hopefully that's all it was. He hasn't missed practice or anything like that. I'm still starting him as a top 10 fantasy quarterback, but in the leagues where I have him, I make sure I've either got a good quarterback on my bench in case of emergency or at least 3 quarterbacks on the waiver wire that I can go and pick up in case of emergency.
Are you doing that? Are you taking that same strategy quarterback-wise with Aaron Rodgers this week?
Excellent question, and for this week, yes. We know that he didn't practice each of the last 2 days. Might not practice today either, and Saturday they have a walkthrough. I wonder if the Packers are thinking, you know what, we need every win we can get, but if we send him out there against Minnesota, he could really be in trouble because you guys saw the Vikings pass rush against Garoppolo. They were all over him, and I think they can get to Aaron Rodgers just as well. He didn't look quite – his numbers were great because the secondary of the Bears just they were lost. And I'm wondering if Rodgers is going to struggle this week. I don't have him as a top 10 quarterback, just outside of there. Nervous if he plays. That's why I would look at him. I would go with Garoppolo, Watson, Mahomes, Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, all ahead of Aaron Rodgers this week.
All right, so kind of connected to that, a lot of people were talking about Randall Cobb in the offseason, saying, hey, this guy could get released, could get traded, who knows? He was a low pick for a lot of people, obviously came up last week. Now, everything's predicated on whether Rodgers plays or not, I'm sure, but where do you have Randall Cobb after last week?
I'm not that excited about him. Terrible track record against Minnesota, first of all. And second of all, half of his yards in his touchdown came on one play where the Bears' defense just couldn't contain him. And I'm sorry, the Vikings' defense is worlds better than the Bears' defense. Even with Khalil Mack there, it doesn't matter. I think you're going to look at Cobb and kind of, if you're looking for 6 or 7 fantasy points in a non-PPR, like 70 yards, maybe he gets you that. Maybe he gets 5 catches on top of that. I have a hard time counting on him in week 2 against Minnesota.
And then connected to that with his shoulder injury of his own, are you staying away from Devontae Adams this week?
If Rodgers plays, then I'll be okay with Adams. At least Adams is practicing,
sure,
and that's a good thing. But if Rodgers is out, I can't feel good about Adams.
All right, questions from the text line at 441140. I have these three. I can start two. I'm sorry. I've got a second one for Sony Michel. I mixed that up. These three here: Lynch, Chubb, Adrian Peterson. You got to start two of those three.
It's got to be, you got to sit Chubb because I'm just not sure how much work he's going to get. Peterson should have a great game against Indianapolis. That defense is in trouble. And Marshawn Lynch, not a great track record against Denver. I think he averaged below 2.5 yards per carry in 2 games against them last season. And we saw him get pulled from the game for Jalen Richard toward the end. So I'm not excited about Lynch, but I'd start him over Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, is that a guy that you would want to hold on to for later, or do you think it's just going to be a constant platoon situation all year long?
Completely depends on how patient you are and how much bench space you have / need. If you've got, let's say, 5 bench spots and you incurred an injury at tight end last week, 2 out of every 12 fantasy owners did, then you might need that spot and you might have to let go of Chubb. But if you can hold on to him, you should, because he is a talented running back. I do think that we'll be talking about him as a quality fantasy starter at this time next year.
From the text line, what does Dave Richard think about the Pats running back situation with Hill and Burkhead? And I'll add on to that, same kind of question about Chubb with Sony Michel, who might make his debut this week.
Exactly, and you have to be patient with Sony Michel because I think when he does get up to speed on what he's supposed to be doing, and when he's healthy, he could be really, really good in that New England offense. As for this week, I think James White might be the best option. We've got to see if Rex Burkhead practices, and if he's up there and playing against Jacksonville. Look, I don't think the Patriots are going to run a ton in the game anyway. They're going to throw a lot. One of the ways they can beat Jacksonville is by using the running backs out of the backfield. Burkhead can catch passes. James White clearly can catch passes. I think I would lean toward Burkhead if he practices in full on Friday. All systems go. But short of that, I think James White might be the better bet for fantasy.
Last question for Dave Richard, and this person makes a note of it. I'll make a note of it too. And obviously, Dave, with you in the area, fantasy football is like 20,000th on the list of important things. But this person asked a question that is a legitimate one. With everything going on right now with the weather on the eastern seaboard, and we've got it on the monitor right now, I was saying before you came on, in Carolina, should we be making lineup moves in fantasy with the weather in mind, or is that too much of a who knows, and should we just start and sit who we would normally start and sit?
Normally, I don't look at the weather for any game until maybe the day of the game, maybe the day before. It really depends on the situation. In this case, the only game that might be affected would be the one in Jacksonville between the Patriots and the Jaguars. But that one right now isn't even a significant concern. It's not even a blip on the fantasy relevant radar, I guess you could say.
Got it.
Keep an eye on it. Let's see what the weather looks like and what the forecasts look like. It's never a bad idea to check what the weather's going to be, but really it's more about the wind. Mm-hmm. Heavy wind is bad, and heavy rain is bad.
Well, I told you a little bit before he came on. I'll tell you again right now, CBS Sports' new online channel, CBS Sports HQ, for all the latest sports news, highlights, and smart analysis, all free at cbssportshq.com or on the free CBS Sports app. You can follow Dave Richard, just like the 2 first names, at Dave Richard. Check him and all his colleagues and friends out all weekend long. Dave, did I miss anything important there?
No, I think you got to everything, and
nice.
We're here to help you win your league, so come check us out.
You're the best in the business, buddy, and you are out in that area, or at least I know that's where you are stationed at. I assume you're out in the Florida area, so you're in our thoughts as well, my man, and hopefully everything works out and you take care this weekend.
We are in very good shape. My thoughts are in Carolina and what the Carolinas are going through, because we had it real tough last year. We had the storm hit us, and now this year I guess it's Carolina's turn.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we're all thinking about that. Dave, appreciate you. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Later, Dave.
All
Be
right,
good.
See you, buddy. Bye. That is Dave Richard. We'll take a break. When we come back, for real this time, we got a little off kilter last week with the champ coming in studio. NostraDumbass. I'll explain to you how that works. It's once again a chance for Kyle and I to look completely stupid or completely smart, depending on which way we go there. We're back in a couple. We'll wrap up the show. Last half hour, Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sports 1140 KHTK has made your mornings even better. Check out The Drive every morning on KHTK.com to not only hear the show, but to see the show as well. The Drive is now video streaming every morning from 6 to 9 on KHTK.com. All presented by the Sacramento Republic FC and by Jiffy Lube.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friend, Dr. Jack Friedlander, and everybody out there at NorCal Lipo. The Vaser and Vaser high-def technology can make an absolute difference in your life. Just go to the website at norcallipo.com. You can click on the procedures, see what those are all about. Click on the photos, and these aren't some doctored-up, photoshopped photos. These are real deal photos. I'm looking at them right now. These are people right before and right after they get done with Dr. Jack. And when I say right after, I don't mean, okay, they had the surgery a couple weeks ago and now they're coming in. No, I'm talking about like literally the minute they're off the table and ready to go and they're about to walk out the door, you can tell in some cases you still have the outlines that Dr. Jack used to sculpt the body. And the results are absolutely fantastic. These are real people. These aren't supermodels. They're people that go right up there to Roseville, go see Dr. Jack and Tara, and you get yourself a free, private, no obligation consultation. Doesn't cost you a dime just to find out what he can do for you. 347-7755. That's 916-347-7755 and NorCalLipo.com. That's NorCalLipo.com. Get in there and tell him your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
The best cowboys and cowgirls in the nation are coming to Marysville. They're all coming for the Marysville Stampede PRCA Rodeo, and you should be there too. It's this Saturday and Sunday at Cotton Rosser Arena in Marysville. Tickets are just $20 for adults and $10 for kids 4 to 12. The Marysville Stampede this Saturday at 5 p.m. and Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Get your tickets now at MarysvilleStampede.com.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, brought to you by Beacon Roofing. If you're a roofing contractor, save time and save cash with the Beacon Pro Plus app. In the harsh glare of the Sunday night spotlight, the pressure will be on Dallas's Dak Prescott. Last week, he laid an egg in a 16-8 loss at Carolina. Sandwiched around 6 sacks and a fumble, Prescott threw for only 170 yards. Giant safety Landon Collins claimed that if Big Blue can take away Ezekiel Elliott's running, they'll win by forcing Prescott to throw. Now, yesterday, Prescott replied, "Challenge accepted." Elsewhere, two highly compensated opening week underachievers are also feeling the heat. On the road in San Francisco, Detroit's Matt Stafford will need to stop testing Matt Patricia's patience by throwing ugly interceptions. And at home against Carolina, Atlanta's Matt Ryan needs a bounce-back game for sure. I expect Prescott and Ryan to deliver on Sunday. I'm Boomer Esiason.
You're a smart, hard-working roofing contractor. But how do you get ahead? Use Beacon's time-saving online tools to help with material planning and ordering. You can even order materials from your smartphone, like GAF's Timberline Ultra HD shingles with new StainGuard Plus technology. The Beacon Pro Plus app works 24/7 and has perfect order templates to save you time. You work hard. Now, work smarter. Sign up and download the app for free at beaconproplus.com.
USC versus Texas at the Rose Bowl was legendary.
Under pressure, he'll tuck it in and run. Touchdown, Texas! Touchdown, Big John!
But then, they played a sequel.
56 yards!
A non-stop thriller that ended in revenge. After 2 games this big, you don't finish the story there. You make a trilogy. USC versus Texas, tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Hey, Jason Ross here. And we all have financial questions. Like, what's the best way to use my tax refund? Do we have enough funds to renovate our kitchen? And are we putting enough money into our 401k? Whether you have questions about saving, spending, or anything in between, Bank of America's experienced financial specialists are here for you. Proudly serving the greater Sacramento area. So schedule that appointment at bankofamerica.com/conversation. and start the conversation.
Paul Blanco doesn't care about your crummy credit past, only your good credit future. Use Kia's giant factory rebates to get approved for a new Paul Blanco Kia to improve your future. Let the banks compete to get you approved at paulblancokia.com.
Sports 1140 KHTK's coverage of high school football is presented by Wingstop. Listen every Friday night to the Wingstop High School Football Wrap-Up Show and get all the coverage on KHTK.com.
Now your sports update. Sports update. Powered by Mercury Insurance.
Hey, it's Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The NFL season, week 2 of the NFL season, kicked off last night. It was the Ravens visiting the Bengals, and the Bengals came out on top 34-23 thanks to 3 touchdowns from wide receiver A.J. Green, all in the first half. The rest of week 2 kicks off Sunday. The 49ers are home against the Lions, while the Raiders are in Denver, and you can hear that game as part of our NFL Sunday triple header. The morning game will be the Eagles and the Bucks. Coverage there begins at 9:30. The Raiders and Broncos, they're set to kick off at 1:25, and as always, we'll have Sunday Night Football. It's the Cowboys and Giants. They're facing off in Dallas in that NFC East matchup. Kickoff for that is set for 5:20. Former Browns linebacker Michael Kendricks, who's under federal investigation for insider trading, was signed by the Seahawks to a 1-year deal. They're expected to have him this week against the Bears on Monday night. And the A's 6-game losing streak came to an end with a 5-3 loss to the Orioles last night. Now the A's head to Tampa Bay for a 3-game set with the Rays. It's 8:32. Time to play 9 at Sierra Pines Golf Course. Learn more at TimberCreekGC.com.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
All right, thanks to Dave Richard for joining us, along with Sean Salisbury. Love that hour from 7:30 to 8:30. 2 of our favorite guests, all guests brought to you by the Fire Wings Hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com, just wing it. Oh, I thought you had something to say.
I do.
Okay.
It's psycho. Time to check out the Marysville Stampede tomorrow on Sunday. Go to MarysvilleStampede.com for
That's what I'm talking about. That's going to be a fun time out there. Honestly, if I was not out of town this weekend, I might actually roll up there. I enjoy that. I do. I like the bull riding and all the different things that go on. A lot of people go, Psh, what's that? Can't have fun up there. Oh, yes, you can. I've been to the PBR like 8 out of the last 9 years.
I know.
True story.
I know probably 9 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You just know that. That's your whole...
I know probably 9 people who go to rodeos.
Uh-huh.
And all of them swear by them.
I'm telling you. I'm not even like a country guy.
Right. And neither are...
Right.
I'm from the Bay Area.
Right.
People like, rodeos in town, I'm there. Like they turn Southern.
Right. I'm there.
They have boots and hats just for this.
Yeah, I don't do that.
It's like, why do you have a pearl snap shirt? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't do I don't dress up, but I go.
I go.
I have a good time. All right, let's do this. NostraDumbass. Older listeners will remember this. Newer listeners, hey, golly, you're in for a treat. Here's the idea. We take 3 games. We'll take the Niner game, the Raider game, the 2 local games, of course, and then Kyle and I will each pick our own separate game. We'll do a quick little 30-second synopsis of what we think is going to happen as if we already know what happened. We're going to record it, play it back on Monday or Tuesday if there's a Monday night game going on, and we'll see how close or how far away we were. We will also take your submissions as well for NostraDumbass. Again, you can look stupid too. All right.
Hey, real quick. Marcus Peters fined $13,000 for his celebration on Monday Night Football.
It's not enough. It's not enough. Should have been fined $25,000 for what he did. Don't say for the celebration. Say what he did.
The crotch grab.
That's right.
While he dove into the end zone.
That's right. In front of kids, families.
Yeah, it's the worst thing that's ever been done.
Backwards.
CTE is fine.
See,
crotch grabbing.
That's the problem with you
drawing
people.
the line.
That's the
Whoa!
problem. Yeah, I said it. I said
Whoa!
it. You little avocado munchers, listen here. You know, well, CTE's worse, so he shouldn't get fined.
Exactly. We are comparing bad things.
Yeah. How about just not?
From what I'm hearing, you actually are pro CTE.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm on record. It's in my Twitter bio. How about not grabbing your peanut, as we say in my household, call it a peanut. How about not grabbing the old peanut when you're falling backwards in the end zone in front of millions?
Peanut is so close. Why don't you just go all the way?
Because we're stupid. I don't know. We do dumb things in my house.
Good fade.
It's a peanut and something else. I forget.
Nope. We can just NostraDumbass.
Yeah, I can't really talk about what the other one is.
Yeah, no.
First game, Niners. They are, and we're doing this, by the way, with the spread in mind. The Niners favored by 6 over the Lions. Fantastic game. If you're a 49er fan, Jimmy Garoppolo on their very first drive takes them down the field, throws a touchdown. That's right, throws a touchdown. Alf Morris comes back. He bounces back a little bit. He's got a touchdown on the ground. Give me 2 Garoppolo touchdowns. Give me 2 rushing touchdowns. Throw in 2 extra points. We'll make it 34-17 49ers.
Wow.
Yeah, 34-17. I'm writing that down. Take it to the bank.
I think the 49ers are going to have issues with the right side of their offensive line, and they're going to struggle early on, especially the running game, Matt Breida and Alfred Morris, because the 49ers are going to have to run left because they're not going to be able to trust the right side of that offensive line. I think it takes them a while to adjust. I think they're down 13-3 at the half.
Wow.
But then I think they make an adjustment because Kyle Shanahan is the best offensive schemer in the game.
Like Marcus Peters, great at adjusting.
We see Jimmy Garoppolo come back with 2 second-half touchdowns, 1 to George Kittle, 1 to Dante Pettis. And the 49ers sneak out a win. We'll go 24-20.
Wow. So you would take the Lions.
Yeah,
that's 6
cover.
points.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, hang on. I'm missing a touchdown.
There you are.
So give me 3 Jimmy Garoppolo touchdowns.
Wow.
1 to Pettis, 1 to Kittle. Give me 1 to Garrett Selleck.
And 1 to somebody else. A couple to this guy. And 1 to that guy.
No, scratch Selleck. Pierre Garçon. Okay. Garçon doesn't have a touchdown yet with the Niners. He'll get 1 this week.
Raiders and Broncos in Denver. Broncos Stadium at Mile High Field, or whatever the heck it's called. In this game, the Raiders are underdogs by 6 points. I think we threw out a stat earlier in the game, or early in the show. In fact, I know we did. In the last 30 years, the Broncos are 32-3 heads up, straight up at home. Not against the spread, just 32-3 at home. They don't lose in the first 2 weeks of the season. By the way, that's the first 2 weeks of the season. 32-3 in the last 30 years. Unfortunately, for Raider fan, that's not going to change this weekend. I do believe Derek Carr is going to go downfield. I do believe Amari Cooper is going to have more than 5 catches. I do believe Martavis Bryant will have 2 to 3 catches. I do not believe Jared Cook will have 180 yards. That's going out on a limb.
Good point.
But I do think Derek Carr is going to be sacked at least 3 times. I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one. I'm going to say 28-14. Broncos are going to double them up. And I think this time next week, or in fact, I'll say Monday, we're going to be talking about, does Oakland have an offense at all? My God. Because I think they're going to be sucking wind and having issues towards the end of the game, especially Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch is going to hate it there.
I think that we're going to see the Raiders try and establish their run game, go deeper off more play actions, use that to kind of soften up the middle of the field. We'll still see plenty of short passes. I think that's just going to be kind of how the Raiders' offense is this year. But I think those deep shots, John Gruden alluded to it yesterday, there were deep shots that Carr did not take that I think they're going to encourage him. Hey, let it rip. Go get Martavis Bryant deep. Go get Amari Cooper deep. And I think they're going to connect on those, and it's going to help open up their offense a little bit. That being said, I don't think it'll be enough. I think the Broncos are going to be able to score on the Raiders. And I think we see the Broncos come out with a 27-21 win.
27-21. Okay. My wild card game. I had it picked, but I don't know. I'm just all right, screw it. I'm going Vikings-Packers. Vikings-Packers, that's a 10 a.m. game. Minnesota travels to Lambeau Field. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play part of the game. I think the Vikings defense will knock Aaron Rodgers out of this game. I think it's going to be all downhill. I think Lambeau Field fans are going to be very, very sad at this game. And I think 49er fans are actually going to come away with a Lions victory combined with what happens with Minnesota and Green Bay. And come Monday, they're going to be feeling a lot better about their season, part because they won, in part because they saw what Minnesota did to Green Bay at Lambeau Field. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Minnesota is, along with the Rams and Eagles, the class of the NFC. I think they're going to go in there during a rivalry game. I think you're going to see 3 touchdowns from Kirk Cousins. Stephon Diggs is going to get in there. Adam Thielen's going to get in there. And Kyle Rudolph is going to get in there. Add another run from Dalvin Cook. I'm going to go 31-10.
Wow.
Blowout
at
Lambeau Field, Vikings over Green Bay, in part because Aaron Rodgers gets knocked out.
I have I'm looking at this Panthers Falcons game.
Falcons.
In Atlanta, the Panthers getting 5.5 points.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. Thank you for that. I forgot to mention the Packers are favored by 1 as of right now.
Are they really?
That's
I
really
saw them
surprising
at a
to me. I see. I'm looking right now.
Okay, but either way, pick them or
-1.
-1. You're taking
back to you.
So I've got the Panthers plus 5.5. Atlanta just put Deion Jones, their stud inside linebacker, on IR. He's done for the year. That is going to allow Christian McCaffrey to cook the middle of that defense. I think we're going to see a heavy dose of Christian McCaffrey. Going to channel my inner Dave Richard here, and if you have Christian McCaffrey, start him this week. You're probably starting him every week anyways, but just in case, I think he's really going to eat this week, and I think we see the Panthers get a big NFC South win.
Wow.
Yeah, and after seeing the Falcons offense struggle the way it did last week, I'm not super confident in them. I like the Panthers to cover the 5.5 points and to give me Carolina 27, Falcons 20.
So you're saying Falcons not only lose at home, but they're losing. They're going to 0-2.
Yeah.
Wow. Also, what might make your prediction even better is Devontae Freeman questionable.
Yes.
But at the same time, if Devontae Freeman doesn't play, that's a coin flip because Tevin Coleman might just go berserk.
Sure.
Devontae Freeman, even with healthy, is a coin flip. All right. That's recorded. Mark that, please.
Tag that.
That is recorded and will be replayed and clipped up come Monday. That's how it works. We will see how close Kyle and I got with our predictions from the 916. Text to dumbass. I like that. Niners destroy Detroit 35-9. Combined for over 300 on the ground, 512 total yards. And Detroit fires Matt Patricia.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. But, dude, if that happens.
Are you putting him past the Lions?
So I'm saying, if that happens. A few questions, too. This is where I know we've had some long-time listeners. I know we got a break here, but I always appreciate the long-time listeners. I can't do Beat the Baby anymore. That's the old bit I did on my night show when my daughter and my son were super-duper young, and I would just ask them their picks. And I've told the story before. I've told the story before because my kids actually ended up beating a gambly guy that we used to have on that would pay to come on our program, and he canceled, and we lost all that money because my kids destroyed him. I can't do that anymore. It's tough because they're in school right now, and I used to be able to just call them at home. But maybe I'll record something with them next week, and we'll do a little Beat the Baby.
Yeah, you should absolutely do that.
It's got to be Beat the Babies, though, because they're both going to want to get involved. They'll get ticked off. We'll take a break. What's on Tap is next. We wrap up this Friday for you right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sports Fest is coming. KHTK presents Sports Fest, featuring activities for the entire family. Sports figures from the past and present. Saturday, September 22nd at Roosevelt Park in downtown Sacramento from 11 to 5. Brought to you by King Kong Brewing Company. Grab more information at KHTK.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends over at Fire Wings. I just did a bad thing to Kyle. 21 different flavors to choose from. You ever tell somebody something and then you get cut off like right at the good part? And now there's like a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just totally cliffhangered Kyle. Is that even a verb?
I don't think so.
Because we got to talk about Fire Wings, Kyle. As a matter of fact.
And you cliffhangered me with Fire Wings when you were doing all these Fire Wings reads, and I had never been there.
That's right.
This is several months ago.
And now you've been, in fact, you were just there the day before yesterday.
Yeah, I've probably been there more times than you now.
I think total maybe. But part of that is because the closest Fire Wings to me is on Sunrise by the Honey Baked Ham Place. And that's a trek, but I still make it. I'm like the old school, like Oregon Trail. Like one of my kids gets dysentery. I got to go hunt a deer on the way out there. Yeah. Eventually I arrive, and it's worth it. But coming soon. Literally walking distance from my home. There will be a Fire Wings in Antelope. Yes, I still claim Carmichael, but Antelope. You're absolutely right. And I will pass you like Carl Lewis would pass a fat kid on a track. Let me tell you something, Kyle. I will get all 21 different flavors. I will eat the garlic ramen. I will go to the little soda remix machine and make my own cherry vanilla orange soda if I want.
I'll get a beer.
Yeah, well, that's fine. You get your beer. I'll watch the games with my friends, hang out, and then come in and talk about how I went to Fire Wings.
The garlic fries.
Garlic fries.
I've gotten the regular fries, the seasoned fries the last couple times. I got to switch back to garlic.
Firewings.com. Find the location nearest you, and you tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
You make it. 2018's most anticipated tour is coming. Jason Aldean, High Noon Neon Tour. September 27th, Toyota Amphitheater with special guests Luke Combs and Lauren Elena. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Jason Aldean, live.
Sacramento, D.C. here, and the Dream Team is in the house. That is Beck's Furniture and Sleep Dream Team. I say Beck's Furniture and Sleep because Beck's can handle all of your furniture and sleep needs. No matter your budget, Beck's has you covered. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8-piece bedroom sets, dressers, nightstands, armoire, kids' beds, you name it, Beck's has it. With 70 mattresses on display, you will sleep like royalty. Tell them D.C. sent you. Visit Beck's today at becksfurniture.com.
Beck's Furniture.
Subject to prior sale and approved credit. Excludes tax. Zero security deposit. 10,000 annual miles. 25 cents a mile over. Stock number R37296. See deal for details. Ends 10/1/18.
Here, Roseville, think Lexus. And for September, you may just want to think about upping your drive to a new elegant IS 300F Sport, because the guys at Lexus of Roseville will make it oh so easy. Hey, it's Grant Napier, and nothing satisfies like driving a premium, well-crafted Lexus IS 300 sedan, especially when you can lease one now for $369 a month. Your cash toward the deal is $39.99. Lexus will pony up $52.50 in lease cash, and then you're behind the wheel to experience amazing. And this one is the F-Sport package with goodies galore. You really just need to see it to understand how dynamic and thrilling this car really is. Stop in and say hi to my guys at Lexus of Roseville. Let them show you a new elegant IS 300. They're in the Roseville Auto Mall and online at lexusofroseville.com. Here, Roseville, think Lexus.
It's California Backyard's end-of-season jacuzzi in-stock clearance. Get the lowest prices of the year on all in-stock jacuzzi brand hot tubs. Find huge savings on all in-stock J200, 300, and 400 series hot tubs. And save $3,000 off all in-stock swim spas. There's free delivery, plus everything's included. Free cover, deluxe steps, chemical setup, and more. That's a $1,375 value for free. The jacuzzi in-stock clearance at all California Backyard locations.
A Sport Clips Championship haircut experience makes you feel like your hair has its own walk-up music. Maybe you play sports. Maybe you play sports online. Or maybe your sport is keeping up with your kids. Your hair deserves its own walk-up music, and at Sport Clips, we make it easy. A game-changing cut from a stylist trained for guys while you're surrounded by sports. Hair this good needs no introduction, but you'll want one anyway. So get in line online at sportclips.com/check-in and get your hair in the game.
Tune into A's baseball all season long on Sports 1140 KHTK. Brought to you by Chase Chevrolet in Stockton. Chase, find new roads. Chase Chevrolet, buy into it.
It's the end of the show, but it's the start of your workday. For a cold one, it's What's on Tap. Here's What's on Tap.
All right, What's on Tap time. Before that, though, a word.
Well, can I...
What?
Can I start with what's on with something that's on tap?
Sure.
Friday night football tonight. Congratulations to the Wood Creek Timberwolves for winning our Stockton Honda Game of the Week. Wood Creek hosts Roseville High School today. Kickoff at 7:15. Make sure to submit your California Family Fitness Player of the Week at KHTK.com and listen to Friday Night Football, hosted by Matt George and Charles the Hammer Hamilton, presented by Wingstop.
Can I read you a text?
Yes, please.
Dear Kyle, you never gave away Rascal Flatts tickets. I'm severely disappointed.
Is that an actual text, or are you leading me to my next read?
It's the very top text.
Well, that was actually my next read, because I'm giving away Rascal Flatts tickets right now.
Never ask a question you don't know the answer to. That's my rule.
800-920-1140, 339-1140. Get a pair of tickets.
37?
Caller 4.
Okay.
Tickets to see Rascal Flatts playing at Toyota Amphitheater on September 20th. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RoosevilleAutomall.com.
Number 4, Michael Jordan.
Get your tickets.
Number 4.
Joe
Montana.
Wayne Gretzky, obviously. Have to mention that because we're huge hockey fans.
Number 4, who's the guy they traded for? Tucker Carlson?
Erik Karlsson.
Yeah.
Merrick.
Fourth caller. What's on tap this weekend? Hey, how about the 49? It's going to be a tough afternoon. I hope you have multiple TVs. You're going to a sports bar. You're doing something.
Hashtag Drive 1140.
You've got Lions and 49ers at 105. That's out in Santa Clara. Niners favored by 6. Raiders Broncos starts 20 minutes later in Denver. Denver is favored by 6. And you also have the game of the weekend. Patriots, Jaguars in Jacksonville. New England favored by 1. Kyle Madson, do you buy that?
No, I'm going Jags if I can get the Jags plus a point.
I would think so too.
Get your tickets.
Man, I would think so too. Your Sunday night game, Giants and Cowboys, nobody cares. Seahawks and Bears, your Monday night game. Chicago at Soldier Field taking on the Seahawks. Chicago favored by 3.5. Khalil Mack and the Chicago Bears, is that unfair? Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, and the Chicago Bears, along with Mitchell Trubisky. Opting for Mitchell instead of Mitch.
It's because he's about to get his second L.
Get your tickets.
I'll actually allow that.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you, man. Wow.
A's Rays 4:10 today. You know, the Tampa Bay Rays are 80-65, Kyle. The Tampa Bay Rays are 25 games over 500.
They are scorching hot.
This ain't no, gimme series here, pal.
No, and the A's need to win a game or two.
Yeah.
Because the Rays are not close. And I know there's only 16 games left or 15 games left, but dude, if the Rays I think are 7 games back, 7.5 back, if they sweep, they're within striking distance.
Well, and the Yankees take on the Blue Jays, and that's pretty much a bye week.
Yeah.
However, the Astros host the Diamondbacks. That's not going to be a gimme. Robbie Ray and Dallas Keuchel. Could this Rays-A's series be really the first time we've seen an entire series, or for the most part an entire series, where your starting pitcher averages about 3 innings? Because Tampa Bay started this whole thing.
Yeah, we just see bullpen.
Just bullpen the whole way through.
The fact it's worked for 2 teams makes me think that this might start to become a trend.
That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It could in fact start a trend,
which I know you'll love because you love the changes that are happening in baseball.
I mean, something like that's whatever.
Hey, real quick, UC Davis opens Big Sky Conference play September 22nd against the University of Idaho. This year marks the 100th season of UC Davis football. Tune in to KHTK to catch UC Davis play nationally ranked Stanford. Be sure to check out UCDavisAggies.com for several great ticket package deals still available. Go Ags.
You know why I'm playing? You know why I'm playing these sounds? Actually, it occurred to me, the Aggies. Like, that's short for the agriculturals, right?
Yeah.
So that means farms.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like they're appropriate sound effects.
We used to say some not so nice things about UC Davis when we were at Sac State.
Oh, Stingers up.
Yeah,
that's where Jason Ross, the boss, is today, by the way. They're taking on, I think, Northern Colorado this weekend. I see you have your
my stinger is so high right
your
now.
Kelly Green Hornets jacket with your Kelly Green A's hat and the logo. Want to remind everybody, you can now go on the website and watch the video simulcast of this program. Our thanks to Jiffy Lube. Our thanks to Sac Republic.
I had 3 pieces of paper I shot towards the basket.
You missed them all, didn't you?
All 3.
Well, let's hope that's a harbinger of things to come for the Warriors.
Okay, see, that's we don't need all that. We don't need that.
What do the Thunder have to do with this?
What did I say?
You said OKC. See that?
Nice, dude.
Thank you.
That's really good.
The only person with any talent on this
#Drive1140
program is Eunice. That's right.
I'm just subliminally dropping that in here and there.
If you're going to contact us from now on, #Drive1140.
We're canceling the text line. We're not.
We may, in fact, actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Just redirect all the texts to #Drive1140.
Hashtag Drive1140 Jiffy Lube.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. And your tweet may, in fact, make it on the program. Eunice does a phenomenal job and has all week long and last week. We'll tell you about some new stuff coming up with this video cast, which we've been telling you about for 2 weeks, new stuff coming. And it's been coming. It's here. So we're very excited about that. For Kyle Madson, I'm Carmichael Dave. Have a great weekend, everybody. Please be safe. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the A's. We'll see you Monday at 6 a.m. Jim Rome is next right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. Bye-bye now.
We're going finger guns?
#Drive1140.
#Drive1140.
The Jim Rome Show.
The Houston Rockets have signed Carmelo Anthony to a